The world teaches you to fear one thing: being alone. As children, we cry when no one comes. As adults, we panic when the room becomes quiet. We search for another conversation, another relationship, another distraction, anything except ourselves. But what if the strongest version of you has been waiting on the other side of solitude? Loneliness and solitude look almost identical. Both happen in silence. Both happen away from crowds. Both happen when no one is watching. Yet they are completely different worlds. Loneliness says, "No one wants me." Solitude whispers, "This is where you'll find yourself." The tragedy is that most people never stay long enough to hear the second voice. The moment life becomes quiet, they rush to fill it again. Another notification, another date, another endless scroll through someone else's life, anything to avoid sitting across from themselves. But growth has always required one thing: a place where the world's voice becomes quiet enough for your own voice to finally be heard. Every great journey begins alone. Think about every meaningful journey in nature. A seed grows beneath the earth, alone. The moon crosses the night sky, alone. Mountains stand through centuries of storms, alone. Nothing truly strong asks for constant company, yet somewhere along the way, we began believing our value depended on how many people surrounded us. We measured our happiness by invitations, our worth by attention, our success by applause. We forgot that crowds can celebrate your image while never knowing the real person beneath it. Solitude removes the audience. And without an audience, performance becomes meaningless. Only honesty remains. The question changes from, "Do they like me?" to, "Do I recognize myself?" The world cannot tell you who you are. The world is loud. It tells you what success should look like, what your body should look like, how quickly your life should be moving, who you should become. If you listen long enough, their voices begin to sound like your own. You chase dreams you never chose. You wear masks you never wanted. You become someone who receives applause, yet quietly feels like a stranger. That is why solitude is necessary, not because people are the problem, but because constant noise slowly erases your own voice. When you're finally alone, something remarkable begins to happen. You stop asking, "What do they want from me?" And you begin asking, "What do I want from my life?" That single question has redirected more lives than any motivational speech ever could. The world can offer advice, it can offer opinions, it can offer expectations, but it cannot tell you who you are. Only solitude can do that, because identity isn't discovered in a crowd. It's uncovered in silence. Why solitude builds unshakable strength. There is a strength that cannot be taught. It cannot be bought. It cannot be inherited. It can only be earned. And solitude is where the price is paid. When you spend time alone, you begin depending less on applause, less on approval, less on being understood. You stop expecting everyone to agree with your path. You stop explaining every decision. You stop chasing acceptance from people who were never meant to understand your journey. That is when something changes. Your confidence no longer comes from compliments. It comes from keeping promises to yourself. Your peace no longer depends on who stays. It comes from knowing you can stand even when everyone leaves. Your happiness no longer waits for perfect circumstances. It begins growing quietly, inside ordinary moments. The strongest oak in the forest didn't become strong because the wind avoided it. It became strong because it learned to stand through every season. Solitude is your season, not forever, just long enough to grow roots no storm can steal. Perhaps you've been looking at solitude the wrong way. Perhaps the empty room was never empty. Perhaps every quiet evening, every lonely walk, every unanswered message was life creating space for someone new to emerge. Not someone louder, not someone more impressive, someone more honest, someone who no longer needs the crowd to believe in themselves. The second law of human nature is this: the world introduces you to everyone else. Solitude introduces you to yourself. One day, you'll stop fearing your own company. Not because life suddenly becomes easier, not because every wound has disappeared, but because you've discovered something the world could never teach you. Peace is not found by escaping yourself. It is found by returning to yourself. The room that once felt unbearably empty begins to feel sacred. The silence that once frightened you begins to feel familiar. The loneliness that once broke your heart becomes the place where your heart quietly heals. You stop measuring your life by how many people are beside you. You begin measuring it by how deeply you know yourself. There is a freedom that arrives when you no longer need constant validation, a confidence that appears when your identity is no longer borrowed from the opinions of strangers, and a peace that no crowd can give you, because it was never theirs to give. Solitude doesn't ask you to reject people. It teaches you to stop abandoning yourself. It reminds you that relationships should add to your life, not replace the relationship you have with your own soul. When you learn to stand comfortably in your own presence, you no longer fear who leaves, because you've stopped leaving yourself. The world will always tell you to stay connected, to stay visible, to stay surrounded, but some of the greatest transformations happen where nobody is looking. A seed grows beneath the earth before anyone sees the tree. The moon crosses the darkest sky without asking for applause. The strongest roots are the ones no one ever sees. Perhaps your season of solitude was never meant to isolate you. Perhaps it was meant to introduce you to the person you were always becoming. The second law of human nature is this: solitude is not where you lose the world, it is where you finally find yourself. And when you return from that journey, you don't come back with more people. You come back with more of yourself.